we can talk about gravity at a stage later if you want to, but no one else is going to be able to give you an explanation for what causes tides. We just know that the explanation that we're given is not scientifically valid in any way.
I guess, like, you would probably... People that would believe that, like, we are a flat Earth, and that would probably be based on, like, creationism, right? So, like, you would...
No. It's based on observation and measurement.
No.
But do most people that are flat earthers believe in a creationist?
That comes after. So it's again
Is there a common coral, like, is it a common overlap?
There's an overlap, yes. People who understand that the Earth was a created system might have a biblical influence and understand the Earth is flat. But that's kind of beside the point. The reason why we say that the Earth is flat is because it's measured that way. Water, for example, is a horizontal reference datum. If we're told that 70% of the surface of the Earth is water, but we understand that water is observed and measured as a horizontal reference datum, all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon, for example, then the Earth can't be a ball. Horizontal is not curve. It's a contradiction.
Yeah, and just to add to that, the reason that there's a bit of an overlap is because a lot of people, when they learn about this information, they go and check their scripture, whether it's the Bible or the Quran or the Torah or whatever, and they find that those scriptures describe the Earth this way, as flat and motionless. So that makes them, some people, take it more seriously, or people who already took it serious take it more seriously. So there is an overlap in that regard, but our argument is not based on scripture, it's based on measurement. It just so happens that the scriptures say the same thing.
Yeah, I understand. Because obviously people can, like, try to look for confirmation bias to prove that the Earth is flat for religion.
A lot of people find Jesus through flat Earth.
Well, our confirmation
all right,
comes
Bono,
from
we got this, bro.
Not a book.
So how do you explain, like, seeing... Okay, so the moon is real to flat earthers, right?
It's just...
Because you see it.
Not the story that's attached to it. It's not real, no.
Oh, hold on, Faye. Let me come in here and do a quick public service announcement. If you're not a 24/7 like elder, I don't know how else to put it, just kind of keep your mic muted. The people that have been doing this for a while in this room, the curated this room, are the ones going to take this talking point. So just relax. So for everybody else, if you're not, go ahead.
Sorry, what's this about the moon now?
Oh, sorry. So you don't believe the moon is real?
No, we can see it, can't we?
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, but we don't believe. So we don't believe the stories that we're told about it, i.e. in the late 60s, early 70s, that people went to it. This can't be true. The vacuum of space cannot be real. Would you like me to explain why?
Let's just assume you were right.
Okay.
And I believe you.
Okay.
But I've got questions about the situation. So I'm looking at the moon and with the telescope, right? And I can see it. And it's round. Obviously you can't just, like, automatically assume, oh, that means Earth is round as well. Like, because they're two separate things. Where is the moon then, if not space?
Oh.
Wait.
How do you...
What is the moon is the first question. What is the moon would be the first question.
Okay. Yeah.
You have any idea?
Do I have an idea of what the moon is?
Yeah, I think you need to know what it is to then say where it is. So what is it?
Well, I trust science, like the people that, I'm questioning you because because you're correct. I trust blindly, as you usually do with your elders and,
Of course.
I like just being curious in general, understanding people's points of view.
I like the fact that you're curious about this. That's probably a really, really good start. So we often have people come in here like yourself and say, well, what about the moon? What about the sun? What about other planets? Do you guys believe in these things? Yes, we can see them, but we're not going to make claims as to what they are. For example, the sun or the moon. I've not been there. I cannot verify my speculation as to what it is. I also can't verify any speculation that I might have about the medium that the moon or the sun or the stars reside in. I just understand that according to laws of nature, that cannot be a vacuum up there. If it was a vacuum up there, then the gas that we're breathing would also be up there, because gas expands into space. Second law of thermodynamics, a law of nature that describes the entropy of a system. This system is gas, and gas moves into volumes. So, for example, I'll put it down to you like this, and I'll hand it off to somebody else. We've got two problems when we speak about the vacuum of space. If it's an open system, uncontained from our atmosphere, first problem is we're breathing gas pressure. The definition of gas pressure is the force that the gas exerts upon the walls of its container. But the Earth is an open system, so no physical boundary. Second problem we have with the heliocentric idea of an atmosphere uncontained from the vacuum of space is, according to the laws of nature, the gas will increase in entropy and disperse into the available volume. Understanding these laws of nature means that the vacuum of space cannot be real. You can't have an open system uncontained from a high pressure differential to an extremely low pressure differential without entropy taking place. Does that make sense, Elle?
Right, yes. I just have a mental visualization of the sun is traveling through the universe.
Here we go.
And we are a ball in its tail, being dragged along by, because obviously you can physically see in front of you when you do experiments and stuff, on a tiny version. When you do experiments, you can I don't even know how to explain it. Drag something along, and just the force of it, well, other things will come with it.
Really?
I'm an idiot, so you're talking to a complete.
Oh, you're fine.
I don't know how to explain it in a scientific way.
I believe her.
Thank you.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You have to kind of explain to me what your vision is.
Okay, will do.
For it to compare with mine. Because right now I don't even have a visualization of what you think the world is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but let me add that you probably don't have a visualization for your current worldview, which doesn't stop at just hold on there, shorty, because your current worldview doesn't stop at just the globe itself. What if I were to give you a piece of paper and a pen, and I told you to draw the universe? What are you drawing?
An explosion, like you would imagine, conception being in the womb.
Classic.
Of a mother.
Classic. So that's your visualization, an explosion. How do you even draw that?
Where's the end of your explosion?
We're in it, so it hasn't completed yet.
Okay, so this is what CB's asking you. This is what CB's asking. This is what CB's asking you. So if you were to draw the explosion of a limited system, how would you draw that? Because your universe has an end that's continually expanding into nothing, right? How would you draw that? So how would you draw it?
Because we don't know what the end is. We don't know what we are. You would have to. It's like watching a movie and then pressing pause, right?
Listen, you're missing the point, Bird Brain. You're kind of losing the plot here, because you're like, well, I don't know how I would visualize this thing. Well, if again, you're not even able to take a pen to paper and then draw this worldview that you currently have. We're kind of saying the same thing. There's no way to visualize reality. Oh, really? Okay, go ahead and post it in the chat. We'll take a look.
So, like you know, when you imagine conception, like the sperm in the egg, and it's like, oof, an explosion of life.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, this is kind of falling into what I was talking about earlier, Fate, with you need to stop thinking about your reality in these concepts that you've been given. And I know it's hard because they've ingrained them into us so that when we talk about the Earth, we automatically conjure these images of globes in space and then Big Bang explosions. But that's going to limit you in being able to think about this logically and critically because you've already got this conception in your head. So when you see an image of a field of stars, right? You've seen those images of a galaxy, and then there's an arrow, and it says like "You are here." You've seen those images.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that you're actually there?
No.
Exactly. Right, and there's no way of you actually confirming that. Exactly. And I'd just like to commend you, by the way. You said before, I'm stupid, I don't know what I'm doing, but from my experience being here, it's not a sign of stupidity at all to acknowledge that you don't actually know this to be the case. In fact, that's a sign of awareness and intelligence that you're actually able to say, well, technically, this is just what I've been told. I've never seen it or experienced it for myself. I am just taking it on faith. And that takes a good deal of integrity to actually do. So I commend you for that. You're certainly not stupid. You're a lot further ahead than a lot of people we speak to in here who immediately think they know the full reaches of the galaxy and what the sun is and what the moon is when they definitely don't. So you're doing fine. I'm just going to say I've sent you a link to some resources. There's another server that we have where there's loads of videos and documents and articles. And I've sent you a video as well, just so that you can kind of look at some of the intro materials so that you can research in your own time, as well as coming in here and asking us questions. So did you see that link I sent you?
In DMs or in the...
In DMs, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So it's the 24/7 Flat Earth Discord.
I see, yep.
Right, so if you join that, and then you scroll about 3/4 of the way down the channel list, you'll see a section of alphabetized rooms, and it's got things like sun, moon, stars, gravity, curvature, water. Do you see all that?
Yep.
So when you've got a question like, oh, I want to know more about the curvature or the motion of the Earth or NASA, you can check those channels and there's a load of information. And it's stuff that you're not easily going to find online just searching because they censor this topic and they hide it in the algorithms, all the good stuff. So we save it here so that you can actually research the other side of the story.
Okay.
So take some time.
See, I'm very visual. I'm a visual creature. I really like artistic.
Right. Exactly. We've got a lot. We've got a lot of artists. There's a lot of artistic people in FE. It requires that level of art, like creative thinking, I think, to be able to kind of latch onto this easy enough. But there's loads of images, videos. So whatever your preferred style of learning, whether it's audiobook, whether it's reading PDFs, watching documentaries, there's terabytes of stuff on that server. So take a look at that, and you can take a look at the video that I posted as well if you want a kind of introduction, high-level intro. And when you want more resources and you're saying, I want to know about this, come here, ask the question, or just ping one of the 24/7 team members and we can help you out with information and things, yeah?
Yeah, thanks for actually being genuine and answering my questions.
Anytime, that's what we're here for. We love it. And it's rare for us. It's so rare for us to have someone who comes in and says, I don't know anything about this. I would like to hear what you guys have to say. Normally they're coming in telling us like we shouldn't have been born and we're retards and all this kind of stuff. So it's very nice to have someone who's just like, chill, I don't know what the Earth is necessarily, so what do you guys think? So that's very good. So appreciate that.
The thing is, like, I'm sure that you're very convinced in your position, but none of us truly know. If that makes sense, like we can't confirm 100%. Everything is faith. No, there is always an aspect of like we have to have faith in something.
It depends.
It depends
what you're
saying. What the question is.
Exactly.
Sorry. Depends what the question is. So, for example, if I told you that I was 6 foot tall, I would measure myself to confirm that I was 6 foot tall, right? That would be a measurement. That would be empirical evidence that I was 6 foot tall. A standard of measure, right? Yes? No?
Yeah, okay.
Cool. So when we're talking about the Earth, we're actually talking about measurements. We're talking about horizontal, that being the waters of the Earth. So we measure.
Somebody else could also give me a measurement, and then it will have to be my faith in. Okay, you're right, or you're right. Like there's
Sorry.
We have to believe.
Sorry. This is why Alpha asked you the question earlier on. Is there any measurements of Earth curvature, or do you know in the past if anyone has measured the curvature of the Earth? There are no measurements of the curvature of the Earth. That's one of the reasons why we're here. We only measure and practically use the Earth as a horizontal stationary plane. We don't measure or practically use the Earth as a spinning, rotating curved surface. So in all practical use, in all measurements, in all empirical evidence, the Earth is flat and stationary.
Okay, but that's not how you're going to appeal to some particular audience by going off of measurements and this and that, and like that's for particular types of people.
Well, that's a them problem.
Yeah, it's empiricism, right? So, Fate, what we're talking about is empiricism. So, what's observable, what's measurable, what's repeatable in reality. So, this is something that you'll start to get more familiar with if you start to research this topic. You're going to have to get good at critiquing evidence and arguments, right? Someone presents a claim the Earth is a ball.
That's not what I'm interested in doing. But that's not. I'm not interested in sitting down and doing the mathematics. I'm interested in just asking people their worldview. What do you believe? And getting an image of what they think is the world.
The reason
I don't
you're
want to debate or argue about it.
We don't have an image to offer you, Barbarian. Sorry.
You don't have to. But the reason you're interested and you're asking us these questions is because you, on some level, want to know whether or not what you were told about the Earth is true. You want to know if the Earth is a ball. And the only way you're going to be able to answer that is to evaluate.
Me. It doesn't actually affect me at all whatsoever whether the Earth is a ball or it's flat. It doesn't.
It's where you live.
It doesn't matter.
Your reality. Well, if you say that reality doesn't matter, then that's fine. But reality does matter, Fate. The nature of reality does matter.
Perhaps to you. Perhaps to you it matters, but to me, I have my worldview.
To anyone living in reality, reality matters. Answer me this, Fate. Is knowledge? Have you heard the phrase? You heard the phrase "knowledge is power"?
Yes.
Do you agree with it?
Yes.
So you have no knowledge.
Why do you think knowledge is power? Why do you think knowledge is power?
What I know is powerful to me. What you think I should know that might be powerful.
Let me finish.
Is not powerful to me.
Why is knowledge power? Why is knowledge power?
Knowledge is not always power. That's why there is the phrase, ignorance is bliss, right?
Yes, but ignorance is not knowledge, and bliss isn't necessarily power.
Correct.
Right, so...
But to me in my daily life, in any way, whether the Earth is flat or whether it is round, it doesn't actually matter to me. What matters to me is being curious about the world.
Yeah, why would you be curious for those? That's a contradiction, though. To say I'm curious about the world, but I don't care what it is not curiosity about the world.
About people. I'm curious about people.
Well, they're all on the Earth, so by extension, they're affected by the Earth and what reality is. So it is important, whether or not you realize it at the moment or not, when you've maybe sat and thought about it a little longer. And it's not necessarily the shape of the Earth that matters, right? That's not so much what's important. It's the questions that leads to, right? Because it goes all the way back, like you were saying earlier, to creation. Because you're given a creation narrative for the globe. But if it's not a globe, then that creation narrative is also incorrect. So the entire nature, the materialist nature of the universe and the earth that we are essentially fed in the West is incorrect. So you'd have to reevaluate all of your assumptions about reality.
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. That's my
point. In the sense that it can't come from a Big Bang cosmology, you would.
It doesn't matter, though.
If it's not a Big Bang,
what is she?
Sorry, just very quickly, I just want one more question. So if it didn't come from a Big Bang, how did it get here?
If it didn't come from a Big Bang, how did it get here?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. Sorry, to me, I don't understand.
What doesn't make sense about it? Hold on. What doesn't make sense about it?
Because that would just be like, okay, I'm making up a story.
No.
Well, what's
Big Bang?
What's the alternative from a Big Bang?
I don't know. I don't know, and it doesn't really matter.
It does. Hold on, sorry, Cyclone. So what Cyclone's pointing out is something that we've all argued for thousands of years. It's called the ontological primitive. It's the true dichotomy of creation. When you answer the question, how was everything created? On a globe earth narrative, as Cyclone was pointing out, that's the Big Bang. Nature creates itself. But I said it was a dichotomy, which means there's two choices. On the other hand, and we can all understand this, intelligence creates, doesn't it? So you've got two choices. It was either intelligently created or it made itself.
Correct.
Cool. So this is the other alternative that you've got. It's either naturally created, i.e. created itself, or intelligence, in quotation marks, some people like to call this intelligence, God created.
Right.
Cool.
That's what I believe.
Right.
Which one do you believe?
I believe a God created. I don't believe that it is best done on its own.
So there you go. You already know. So maybe it does make less of a difference to you because you already know it's a created environment. But the reason that this whole topic is such controversial dynamite is because it's essentially physical proof of an intelligent creation. So you already assume that anyway, so that's fine for you. But there's a lot of people out there who have dismissed that as even a possibility because they believe they're in an accidentally exploded Big Bang universe globe. So this is what this whole topic essentially takes off the table. Accidental materialism that is essentially a Western religion at this point, which has passed down from generation to generation, is debunked. And that's why this matters.
Yeah, it just doesn't matter to me personally.
That's fine. Doesn't
I understand how it's socially, why it matters on a social
level. Right now. It matters to you as much as it does to us.
Let's not push her. If she's saying she doesn't care about it, but she's here talking about it, obviously on some level she does care about it, and maybe she'll figure that out. Anyway, it was good talking to you. I'm going to go on mute for a bit, but welcome to the server as well.
Thanks, Cyclone, man.
Thank you. I'm genuinely curious about how you do the world, and I appreciate you sending me that link that will show how you make sense of where we are, what we're doing. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, good stuff, Al.
So, what do you think is one of the biggest problems affecting the world today? Society, environment, whatever the case.
Sorry, could you ask that again?
Feminism.
I'm asking, so what do you think is one of the biggest problems affecting the world today? Examples could be from environmentalism to societal strife, whatever.
To feminism.
Yeah, it would be belief system, not being.
Do you see how this topic
different belief systems are not compatible? It's causing people to murder each other.
That's a big problem.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty big problem.
That is an absolutely big problem, and you understand perhaps the tie into this topic. Belief systems. Fighting over, in this case, questions about Earth's place in the universe and what it is. people believe that we're on a planet in space and we're subject to all these finite resource constraints, and that the things that we do can impact our Earth. The things the sun can do can fry us. Asteroids could collide into Earth and blow it to smithereens. Entire governments craft policy around these issues. And if we live in a big world where everybody's beliefs about this cosmology is fundamentally wrong, then a lot of these worries and fears and wasted economic opportunities would not apply, at least in this case.
Yeah, like I don't think people who are actually religious believe in God exactly. So it's more of a cultural type of thing, because if people genuinely did believe in God, they wouldn't be acting the way that they are. And
that's true.
Obviously, I've got a bit of, like, you would think that my visualization of what the universe is
what the
crazy, but obviously people would think the same thing about your worldview.
Sure.
Like, to me, my worldview is that. Sorry, my internet is bugging.
Wonder of somebody who's absolutely. If you could look at the natural world with the wonder of somebody who genuinely sees it for what it is and is not filtering it through a belief system, you may
guys, just because somebody believes in God,
your relationship with God in a different way.
Guys, just because somebody believes in God doesn't mean they'll act in good ways, or they'll do good actions. It doesn't necessarily mean that.
That's exactly what I said.
But you'll act differently. You'll act differently.
So, for example, someone who believes in God can actually do bad actions, and somebody who doesn't believe in God can do good actions. That's possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Earth is still measured flat, though.
Right.
Yeah, I'm curious to look into that about what. Because to me, obviously, I can't wrap my head around where you think we are. Then, if
on the floor.
On the floor.
Yeah.
Of what though? Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
The lands of the earth surrounded by water, with the sun, moon, and stars above.
In what, heavens?
No, heavens are above. The land and the waters are below. So if you just draw a horizontal line, that's the earth, and everything else is above. When you point up in Australia, that's going to be parallel to me pointing up in the UK. As in, when we're told that the earth is a ball, you and I are pointing in the opposite direction. Now, when everybody points up, we all point in the same direction. The sun, moon, and stars are above us, and the earth is the thing that we stand on.
So, do you think that the plane is infinite, or is it limited?
No, infinite's a bit of a...
Didn't she ask that already?
No, someone said it earlier, and then
That's fine. Infinite's a bit of a misnomer. Infinite doesn't exist. If we're talking about infinite, we're talking about space and time, as in was always going on and always existed. So no one's making a claim to the dimensions of the earth, as in how big it is. But most people, including myself, would say it's a finite system, which means that there is a limitation. What that limitation is, I have no idea. Where it is, just point in the direction. But go there, I've never done that.
So you just kind of stop your thinking there.
No.
At that, never gonna know, don't know. So
I'm not going to be able to practically go there. I don't have the funds, I don't have the resources, or I have family, or I have a job. It's not within my realm to do this.
Is this a possible thing, though?
Possible? I mean, hypothetically, I guess so. Yeah.
So why do you believe that? Because obviously there's the Christopher Columbus sailed around the world, but I'm guessing you think that that's a falsity or
well, he didn't sail around the world. But if he were going to say that he travelled west, then you have to understand that east and west are circles around poles, right?
Yeah.
Good. So it doesn't mean that the surface has to be a ball when you go in a circle around a pole. You know what a maypole is?
Yes. That's why I asked earlier that
like that
when you're looking at a map, is it the same map as what we look at?
Which one? There are thousands of maps.
I can take a picture of the one on the wall right now. And
okay, so would that be a square one? Mercator projection with the north at the top and the south at the bottom and east and west just being water? Square map?
I'll just send it.
Or rectangular?
This is wild. This is like I've entered a vegan chat.
What?
That's all right.
Why?
Yeah, like everyone's full of all the facts and all the knowledges. And I'm like, whoa. There we are. Sorry, Discord's glitching. It's not letting me for some reason share the picture.
I think I know what you're going to post anyway.
But anyway, it's just a regular, what you would get at any old shop.
Yeah, a rectangular map of the world. A rectangular map. Yeah. It's called a Mercator projection, where the north is at the top and the south is at the bottom, right? That's a globe projection.
It's called a what, sorry?
A Mercator projection. The key word in that is a projection. So, for example, if you had a globe map and you were to get a cylinder of paper and put it over the ball, you would then unfoil the ball onto the flat paper and you would project that ball onto that square map or rectangular. See, above the north of the equator and south of the equator, things like Greenland, for example, are massively distorted. Greenland's only about 1/5 of the size of Africa, for example, but on the Mercator projection, it's about the same size. It's a projection map of a globe.
Are you able to send a picture of what the map is like, what you're talking about?
No.
No?
No. Because most maps that we've got today are global projections. In fact, every single one is a global projection.
What's the map that you're talking about?
What does the Earth look like?
Yeah.
There is no the map, ma'am.
So, when I'm looking at, I'm from Australia, so when I'm looking at Australia, you don't think that that's what Australia looks like, or?
Bro.
Yeah, it's about the same size, yeah.
There are projections that maintain equidistant. There's lots of different projections.
Is there like some kind of weird? Is there like weird taboo about showing me a map of what you think?
No. Let me ask you a question. If the Earth was a globe, is there such a thing as the map of the globe? Go ahead.
Yeah, we've got them. So like,
No, the one.
World located projection with country going picture size.
Cooked.
Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat. Just give me a second.
All right. Well, just rip the Band-Aid off. There's lots of maps.
Do you know much about how maps are made? What goes into constructing maps?
That's where I was going to go. Yep.
I like you, Endless. Yep. I was third in that line as well.
This is where I'm trying to get at, is obviously when the people were traveling around in boats, drawing the coastlines and everything like that.
Yeah.
They would have got to a point where...
No.
How do you think they figured out where the coastline was?
They walked. They saw it with their eyeballs. What do you mean?
How do you
almost
measure
every map? Almost every map for the last several hundred years conforms to a spherical coordinate reference system. It's based off how people perceive the sky behaving. So based off of that fact alone, you're not going to find very many maps that don't use that spherical coordinate reference system. What I'm referring to is latitude and longitude. But there are maps that don't conform to that. There are land surveys that use landmarks and not sky coordinates. But those are far and few between.